All right, y'all, we got to talk about it in this call chat. This is Madam X, it's Frequency Road Radio. Y'all know it's always something. As long as we've been living on this earth, I hate to keep
driver's seatbelt.
I hate to keep acting like things are so tragic, because violence, death, even the earth having violent terrain, violent weather, it's just a part of living. The good, taking the good with the bad, and good things occurring as well as negative things, bad things. But it seems like it's always a surprise most of the time, or a lot of the time, who it is, how things happen, and things of that nature. And I swear I'm gonna get back to doing the astrology videos, because I talk to a lot of people in my personal life. Like, I'll warn my friends about what's coming up astrologically and things they should look for if I know a transit that is coming up that I think will really affect them. But I gotta start putting these videos back up so we can pull them up when things happen and go back and say, see, I told you so. So I didn't make a video about it because I've been really busy with some other things. But I was talking to someone in my personal life. Well, two people. One person is a Taurus and one person is a Gemini. And I had started off telling the Gemini because, there's always something going down when Mercury's in retrograde, and since that is her ruling planet and things like that, and being as though Mars was going retrograde in her sign, and we were coming up on this Scorpio solar eclipse, and I was talking to a Scorpio friend about it. Everything about the Scorpio eclipse and retrogrades and things that were going on. So I was telling my Gemini girlfriend the other week, this is about like 2 or 3 weeks ago, I was like, just control your temper, check your temper, because she was saying, people was making her upset, like road rage and stuff, and that she was going to start carrying, her baton or whatever it was with it in the trunk. And I was like, don't do that, because you might bat somebody down while this Mars is in retrograde. I said, you don't need no reason to have to get out and beat somebody up. So I was just telling her, just really check yourself and be careful, because it's Mars, just be careful of accidents, all things having to do with Mars that people should be familiar with or are familiar with if you follow astrology. And then I was also telling a Taurus friend of mine who dates a Scorpio just different things that were going on. And she's an Aries rising, so Mars being the rule of her chart. Just telling her what was going on with the Scorpio eclipse and what was happening with Mars retrograde and just other planetary placements. And she's going on a vacation soon. So just telling her, things to look out for, like travel delays and other types of things like that. Minor arguments, could be major arguments, depending on how you handle it. And just getting the people in my personal life as well as myself prepared. I know this Mars retrograde happens in my career house, so I know how to just kind of take things calm, lay low, but act when I need to on the career front. So this isn't taking place in my 10th house for me, but Mars in my chart rules the 10th house. So anyway, to get up and see, and I've in personal life, things have been happening. Like, people who know the Scorpios have been coming back and telling me things. The Gemini has been getting into things. We see everything that's going on with Kanye West. He's a Gemini. And then to wake up this morning and hear that Takeoff was killed was not, I don't know those people, they're celebrities, but it was not good news to hear. I think if anybody thought anything would happen to somebody in Migos, nobody would have figured it would have been Takeoff. The details aren't extremely clear, but it looks like it could have possibly been an accident that happened stemming from an argument or something that was going on during a dice game that may have been like petty or unnecessary. But y'all know how a simple dice game can turn real serious over a lot less money. You know what I'm saying? So dice games are just tricky. It's whether you're playing with people you know or whether you're playing with people that you don't know. So it was just, unfortunate to hear that happened to Takeoff, because I don't know anybody who watches my channels. I haven't made a lot of celebrity videos in a while, but I use them as examples when I talk about astrology, because it's people that most people know, or a lot of people know. And if I have mentioned the Migos in any of my videos, you all will know that I like the Migos. I've always liked the Migos. Quavo was always my favorite as far as looks and stuff and like personality and swag. But Takeoff, it was my favorite rapper out of the group. And Offset, I guess he has personality. And none of them are bad rappers. But if we're talking about, you know, lyrics and punchlines and just things, how they put their words together, Takeoff was the best in the group to me. And I used to always tell the same Gemini girlfriend I'm telling you about, who I was telling, hey, watch out for this, that, and the other that's happening right now. The same Gemini friend I was telling y'all about, I always tell her how, you know, Takeoff's a Gemini. I really like Takeoff because it's not a surprise that the Gemini would be the best lyricist in the group. I mean, hey, Tupac, Kanye, Kendrick, Biggie, Prince, Maxwell. I mean, the list just goes on and on of Geminis. It literally like never ends. And they are definitely some of the best entertainers. And if we had to really go there, I would pull in and say Virgos are some of the best as well, because Gemini and Virgo, because they're ruled by Mercury, they are good with body movement. So the dancing, choreography, they just will perfect their talent. Virgos will. So you look at people like Michael Jackson and things like that. So I was just telling her, you know, Takeoff, I always used to tell her Takeoff was my favorite as far as rap goes in the group. And then she the one who had told me today, she hit my phone and she was like, yeah, you heard Takeoff got killed. And I was like, no, it's only 8 o'clock in the morning. You know what I'm saying? It's only early as fuck. But the funny thing is, my girlfriend who called and told me, of course, by the time I finally woke up and started looking at stuff, and I was telling her, yeah, he a Gemini. I knew that off the top of my head, but I didn't recall when his birthday was or anything. So after she was looking, I guess from me saying he's a Gemini, she's a Gemini. She went and looked at his birthday. She was like, no, his birthday is not. I was like, what? It's my girlfriend's same birthday. So he is not just a Gemini. He has her same birthday. Another person that has her same birthday is OT Genesis, which I know because I've told her before that OT Genesis was her birthday twin. But I did not remember or realize that Takeoff's birthday was on her same day. And so the same things I was telling her about just being careful, being cognizant of violent things getting heated, things getting violent. Like, it's not enough to study astrology. And that's why I said I need to start putting the videos, doing more and more videos and putting them out, because and sometimes I record videos but I don't have time to edit. It's a lot of videos I've deleted off my phone just because I didn't have time to put it together and upload it. It's not like, you know, if it's just a video, you could just post it. Like when you're doing voice and if you're not recording, you gotta put your stuff together and edit and all of that crap, which I hate. But I like it. I just hate it's time consuming. It takes time to perfect it. And I don't, because you guys see the channel, I don't really do the tarot readings anymore because tarot is too time consuming and people are too needy. Even though the money is fine, I don't really do it for money per se. I mean, everything we do in this world is for money. I do it more so because it's a gift, but a gift to me. But it's too time consuming. People are too needy. They want to talk to you all the time. So I can't be doing that. But astrology is definitely what my intent was to drive the channel towards. And anyway, we've always talked about astrology, but just getting into more charts and just having ground up astrology discussion for beginners or people who are more advanced. I meant to go to the gas station. So I would have, so to use astrology practically, maybe you would not do things right now while Mars is retrograding your sign, like go to a dice game in a state you're not from with a bunch of niggas, hood niggas or otherwise, because it doesn't matter how much money you have or how much money you don't have. Things can get ratchet over money when money's on the table. Yeah, you might hear about people in the hood selling drugs or shooting each other or beefing, but you don't hear about the hits that people with money put out on people, or the policies and laws and things that are affected at a major level to where it doesn't look like to you they are participating in any particular form of violence, but they are. You just don't know it. So you just don't see it on the forefront when it comes to people who had wealthy people who had money, owners of corporations, people who own things like gas and electric companies, and they make vital decisions, about our livelihood, or people who are in charge of our food or produce, putting things like chemicals in the food. So it's not just people, it's not just quote unquote what's termed as niggas that's doing things like this. But I don't know if Takeoff had been into astrology and really following the practicality of astrology, he would have known like this is not the best time to put yourself in that sort of environment, because as you all have heard, and we'll see how true it is as the story comes out, it literally may have been a bullet that wasn't even intended for him, like a straight up accident. And then that's something, one thing I noticed that's happening for Aries around this time. Aries are losing people like pets, even people. Quavo is an Aries. He just lost his nephew. That's his real family member. Takeoff. I have Aries I know who lost a pet the other day. So Aries, be careful of that. And I'm just calling out certain signs because of things I see happening. And also, Davido's son drowned, which I'm so sorry to hear, and I send my condolences. I send my condolences to all of Takeoff's family, as well as Davido and family, and just anybody who didn't make it and wake up today, because everybody's important, not just these people who we deem celebrities, but it's just a broad topic we all can relate to. So I was very sorry to hear what happened with Davido. I haven't seen or read the details of that story. I know there was a report that says they are questioning the house staff. I think about 8 of the staff members or groundskeepers at the house. So I don't know if it's a situation where Davido and Chioma were there and the child was left unsupervised, or the house folks were not supervising the child. I don't know if they were there. The parents were there. Davido and Chioma, I'm not sure how she pronounces it. Sorry if I'm screwing it up. Were there or were not there, but it's tragic. I think that was his youngest son with his current partner or wife. I don't know if they're married or not. I know most of the stuff I see in the blogs, if it comes to any Davido controversy, has to do with the women in his life. And here's another thing I was talking about. Like I said, I have a Scorpio friend who had a birthday. I know other Scorpios. So there's several people in my life I'm aware of that are Scorpios, or people I know deal with. So that was another hot topic as well. What was going on for Scorpio? The light was going to be on Scorpio. Scorpio may be going through a difficult time. Davido is a Scorpio, a November 21st Scorpio, if I'm not mistaken. And then this happens to him, losing his son, which is the worst. I mean, no parent wants to lose a child. So it's just so unfortunate, and you have to be careful if you are Scorpio, Gemini, because Mars is retrograde in Gemini, and we just had a solar eclipse in Scorpio, which effects can last up to 6 months. So if you are either of those signs, if you are any of the what I was going to say next is if you are any of the fixed signs which make aspects. So if you are aspected by any of these things, if what's going on in Scorpio and the eclipse that happened in Scorpio is aspecting another house, so other fixed signs, it would be making a square. Whatever it's opposing in Taurus. I know Tauruses they're not having a bad time, but they're just getting hit with certain challenges, small challenges, light challenges here and there. Leo would be the other fixed sign. Aquarius is the other fixed sign. And then Gemini. So Gemini, that's going to pull Mercury in. If you're a Virgo, be on the lookout. You may be having challenges right now. And if you have any major planets in Gemini, or anything aspecting Mars retrograding in Gemini, you just want to be careful, and you want to really think about and watch what you do when it comes to your actions. And again, Mars rules things like fire, weapons, guns, you know what I mean, war. So Mars is thought to be a violent planet, so to speak. So you just want to be cognizant of that when you're planning on going places, when you're interacting with people, when you're on your job, because you want to look at the houses that these transits are falling in. But the two that I see that have been most prominent in my life and my experience that are really going through it right now are Scorpios and Geminis. And of course, some people, even if they're Scorpio or Gemini, maybe there are other things in their chart, some fixed stars or something that turns this more into a good experience. But the whole point of astrology is stuff for you to be proactive about, cognizant about before it actually happens or while it's happening, so you can possibly make the best decisions to exercise your free will and and maybe not get hit so hard by some of the things that sometimes in life we just can't avoid, or maybe we can avoid making it worse. So again, sorry to hear about the Takeoff situation. It's a mess. I mean, if it was something involving Jazz Prince, which is unfortunate, it seems like the Prince kids just need to go sit down somewhere because they in these streets involved in trouble. I know Jay Prince Jr. just got out of jail not too long ago. He was at the dice game where Duke the Jeweler got killed, and now Jazz Prince, the brother, is at this situation where one of the Migos got killed. And if it gets bigger, then you're talking about a record label like QC record label, and maybe Mob Ties or Rap-A-Lot going up to the big dog Jay Prince. I mean, this sounds messy. And I hope it's not a beef between the two. And maybe Quavo and Takeoff should have left when Offset left. I always wondered how, because I do believe Offset got into it with 4PF. I believe that happened. And I always wonder how, if those three are brothers, they grew up since childhood, technically, Takeoff being Quavo's nephew, and then Offset being a cousin to somebody. Takeoff, Quavo, whatever, they're all real deal family, especially Quavo and Takeoff. I always wonder how Offset got into it physically with Lil Baby's crew, and I know men tend to fight and mend things out, but obviously Offset's been unhappy. And I always wonder how Quavo and Takeoff stayed with QC, don't want to leave. Even probably a chummy before the whole Saweetie situation, maybe even chummy or somewhat cordial or friends. I wouldn't call it friends with Lil Baby, not really having beef. But if your brother Offset was in beef with Lil Baby crew, even if it didn't have nothing to do with Lil Baby, I understand Offset maybe, because he's married to Cardi B, he may want to go off and be on his own and do his own thing. That's understandable. But you guys know it seems like it's something more there. There was a split for whatever reason. Doesn't matter if it was a girl or just business, or really that 4PF thing. Offset never got back right over it, or didn't feel right about it. But regardless of what the situation was with 4PF, how do Quavo and Takeoff stay with a label when that happened? And Lil Baby is the golden child of the label. So P and Coach, they probably ain't gonna do anything to jeopardize their contract or their relationships with Lil Baby. And I'm sure the Migos have been second string for a while because of that. So I don't know. It's just so much going on in the industry, y'all. Their life is not no better than ours. They just got money to fuck off while they do all their bullshit. So it's crazy, y'all. And we're going to see how this thing plays out. Peace.